What is going on, y'all? I am going to be talking about some of the exciting new manga and comic releases for August of 2021, so stay tuned. So I wanted to kind of do a new feature here on the channel. This is something that a lot of other channels are already doing, so nothing original, but I wanted to throw my hat in the ring, so to say, and do these monthly highlight videos talking about my most anticipated new releases for the upcoming month. Like I said, a lot of other people do this already, but I want to do this so that I can let you guys know what I'm excited about this month, and hopefully this is going to be also helpful to y'all in case there's some releases that you're not aware are coming out, or maybe I'll just talk about something that's not already on your radar. So anyway, I'm going to talk about manga first, and then I will talk about comic releases. Some of these things are already available to order or to purchase at your local stores and stuff. A lot of these things do come out earlier than their release date. We know that a lot of books come out a week or two early at like Barnes & Noble or Books A Million all the time, especially with manga. So that all said, I'm not going over everything that's coming out in August, just some of my anticipated releases. So if you do want a complete list of everything that's coming out for manga, I would recommend checking out rightstuffanime.com under their pre-order section so you can see everything that's currently due out for the month of August. And for comics, I would recommend going to my buddy Omar's channel, Near Mint Condition. Every month he does a video where he talks about every new release that's coming out. He doesn't talk about every manga, but he does talk about all the comics from Marvel, DC, etc. That's what I do to find out what's coming out, so you can do that as well. Check out his video and see all the new releases that are due currently to come out throughout August. Now, keep in mind that these dates are subject to change. Things do get delayed. There's a book that I'm going to be talking about in this video that was originally due to come out at the end of June that is now just come out this first week of August. So that stuff happens all the time. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in and talk about some of my most anticipated manga releases for August of 2021. Now, first off, a few things coming from Viz under the Shonen Jump label. Number one, the first hardcover edition of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind. I am so excited. I love JoJo. I've been a big fan of JoJo since the first paperback edition released back in 2005 of Stardust Crusaders. I've been reading since then, been watching the anime. I love the series. I love Hirohiko Araki, so anything new is really exciting. This is going to be the first of either 8 or 9 volumes, depending on how Viz breaks this up, because it was an uneven number of volumes released in Japan, so they might do a single hardcover volume and have 9, or they might do a 3-in-1 for the last volume and have just 8. I don't know how it's going to be, but if it's 8 volumes, it will take 2 years total for us to get the entirety of Golden Wind in English. This is such a great time to be a JoJo's fan. We have the English editions of Golden Wind, JoJolion Part 8 just wrapping up this month in Japan, and of course Part 6, Stone Ocean, is getting animated. We don't have a date yet for when that's going to air, but it is announced and official, so it's a great time to be a JoJo fan. Also from Viz Media under the Shonen Jump label, a couple of exciting final volumes. We have the final volumes of Haikyuu and of Demon Slayer. Haikyuu 45 and Demon Slayer 23. Of course, Demon Slayer's box set is coming out in a couple of months, so if you are one of the many people who was waiting for a box set, or who maybe even sold your single volumes in anticipation of the box set, you'll have that to look forward to. But for people like myself, I am very happy to have that final volume on my shelf sometime soon. My stuff's in transit right now, so I'm waiting for some arrivals, basically, of these early August books. Anyway, very exciting to finally have the final volume on the shelf and stuff like that. Now, a couple of other Shonen Jump series getting new volumes as well. Exciting new volumes of Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, and of Black Clover. And there are other Viz Media releases that I'm very excited about for this month, like Komi Can't Communicate 14, the 14th hardcover of Fullmetal Alchemist, one of my favorite series of all time, and I'm excited to have these beautiful hardcover editions, and I think it's only 17 volumes long, so we're pretty close to the end, as well as the 9th and penultimate volume of the Pokemon Collector's Edition, Pokemon Adventures Collector's Edition manga. That's a really fun one as well if you are a fan of Pokemon. As well, from the Viz signature line, Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead Volume 3, Golden Kamui Volume 23, Asadora Volume 3 from Naoki Urasawa, and Rumiko Takahashi's Urusei Yatsura Volume 11 of those 2-in-1 releases. That's 11 out of 17 total. As well, from Viz is a new hardcover from Junji Ito, so if you are a Junji Ito fan, you'll want to pick up Censor this month. And of course, Volume 97 of One Piece is coming out. And we also have some exciting releases from Kodansha. We've got the 6th 2-in-1 hardcover of Saint Youngmen that collects volumes 11 and 12. We are getting pretty close to catching up with the Japanese release, so we'll be seeing these hardcovers have longer breaks between them. The 4th 3-in-1 omnibus edition of Shaman King. I'm really loving seeing the differences between the old releases from Viz and the new ones, just how they've adjusted the translations and the lettering and stuff, and even some of the artwork in these new editions. The final volume of Cells at Work, volume 14 of To Your Eternity, another one of my current favorite ongoing series. And from Denpa, we're currently scheduled to get the 3rd volume of Kaiji, which I seriously doubt because Kaiji gets delayed so often. I wouldn't be surprised if this one gets pushed back to like the end of this year at some point in the next week or two. And then we've got some exciting releases from Dark Horse manga. We have the 8th hardcover of Berserk and the 3rd hardcover of Blade of the Immortal. I love these deluxe edition hardcovers that Dark Horse has been putting out over the past few years. They are beautiful books. The oversized pages just make the artwork look so beautiful for these very detailed series like Berserk, like Blade of the Immortal, or like Hellsing, which wrapped up pretty recently. So I'm very much looking forward to these releases. I love these so much that I sold my entire paperback edition set of Berserk. I had all 40 volumes, and I sold them because I love the way that these hardcovers look. They're just chef's kiss. And then also from Dark Horse is something that might not be on your radar, and that is What's Michael, the Fat Cat Edition Volume 2. This is the 2nd and final volume of this gag manga about a fat orange cat. Yes, it does sound a lot like Garfield, and it kinda is, except without the sad excuse for an owner that is John Arbuckle. Instead, it focuses more on his adventures as he hops from owner to owner, and kind of the adventures within his own mind of what he's doing with the other cats on a day-to-day basis. It's a fun, lighthearted gag manga. If you're into that kind of thing, definitely pick it up. It's just 2 volumes. They're pretty thick paperbacks as well, and they're also oversized, so nice oversized artwork in those books. All right, now let's talk about the comic releases I'm excited about for this month. So there's several big omnibus releases from Marvel, as well as some other things from other publishers. First was the book that I mentioned was supposed to come out at the end of June and got delayed until this week, the first week of August, and that is the 2nd Wolverine omnibus. Now this is a really big and exciting book. I'm a huge X-Men fan. Many of y'all watching my channel know that already about me, and I also love Wolverine. And this was a very anticipated release because it was something that was very wished for over the years, I guess is the way to put it. And if you don't know the backstory behind this, the original printing of the Wolverine Omnibus, which collected the original miniseries, the first 10 issues of the ongoing series by Chris Claremont, as well as other material, that went out of print a long time ago, and Marvel never reprinted it until last year. We finally got a reprint. And my buddy Omar over at Near Mint Condition, who's the guy that's kind of talking with Marvel and in talks with David Gabriel over there, told him, hey, if you reprint this, I promise it's going to sell out. And basically they made this bet, if it sold out, that they should do a volume 2. And sure enough, it sold out, and we have that volume 2 now. I am so excited. This collects, I think it's volume 2, issues 11 through 31 of the Wolverine series, going right into the material by Larry Hama, who had a legendary and very lengthy run with the character. It also collects stuff like the Meltdown miniseries, the Scorpio Connection graphic novel, and some other issues, as well as some material from the Marvel Comics Presents line. I'm very much hoping that this one sells well enough that they will immediately announce a third omnibus, because like I said, that's going to be that legendary material by Larry Hama, a lot of which, I think most of the stuff that would be in the third volume has been collected, but his entire run has not been collected, so it'd be exciting to see them continue this line beyond that. Now, speaking of X-Men books, another big one is one that comes out next week, and that is the X Factor by Peter David, Omnibus Volume 1. Now, labeling it Volume 1 is kind of odd. If you know X Factor, you know why that's kind of odd, but if you don't, basically, Peter David did his run on X Factor, the first series, and then he left the series, and then there were other creators that finished that first series out, and then years later, after House of M, he launched a new X Factor series, which a lot of people call X Factor Investigations. The fantastic run, and it's just weird that they would title this as Volume 1, because it means if there's a Peter David Volume 2, it's skipping past all of that material between his two runs, which is odd. So I am hoping that we get Peter David X Factor Investigations Omnis, but it's just odd the way that they've structured this, I guess. I'm hoping that we do get other X Factor Omnibus editions released for the earlier material and the material after Peter David's first run, because a lot of that material has never been collected before, and it would be great to see this series get the same kind of treatment as we're getting seemingly with stuff like New Mutants and Excalibur, where it seems like Marvel is intent on releasing the entirety of their series across omnibus editions. I mean, we've already got Volume 2s of each of those announced, which is super exciting. As well, next week is also one of the two paperbacks that I'm going to be picking up this month, and that's from DC and Vertigo, is Hellblazer Volume 25. Now, this is the 25th and penultimate volume. 26 will be the final volume of DC's collection of the classic Vertigo title. If you are at all interested in John Constantine as a character, this is a fantastic line of books to get into, and of course that they're wrapping it up soon with that final 26th volume is great for anyone getting into it now, because the first volume came out literally 10 years ago. I think it was 2011 when it came out, so we've been waiting for this line to be completed for 10 years. But it is completely comprehensive of everything you would need of John Constantine's character. The first volume has his initial appearances, it goes into the first issues of the ongoing run, and every volume, it has every issue, every special, every one-shot, every graphic novel, miniseries, anything connected to Constantine during the Vertigo years is collected across these volumes. So if you're interested in the character, definitely check these out, and I'm super excited to be getting these last couple of volumes. It's so exciting to see them wrap up all 300 issues of the Vertigo title and all that extra material in these books. And next book is one of 4 Captain America omnibus that we've got this month. There's Captain America Volume 3, the reprint of Death of Captain America by Ed Brubaker, the Captain America by Dan Jurgens omnibus, and the one that I wanted to talk about here, Captain America by Rick Remender. Now, Rick Remender had some really big shoes to fill coming into Captain America, because he was taking over after Ed Brubaker's seminal run on the character. Brubaker really redefined the character of Captain America for the modern era, and so anyone that's coming in it's going to be a tough act to follow, and Rick Remender decided to take Cap into a completely different direction, going away from the spy espionage stuff that was really a big inspiration towards the character in the MCU with the Winter Soldier movie and the Civil War movie and stuff like that, and he moved into more of a sci-fi direction, which was very different, but it was something that I really dug, despite a lot of people not really enjoying it. But I really loved the direction that Rick Remender took it in. This run does kind of connect to some of Rick Remender's other stuff that he did at Marvel around the same time, like Secret Avengers and Uncanny X-Force, dealing with things like the Weapon Plus and Weapon Minus programs, which is really interesting. This volume collects that entire 25-issue run, as well as the all-new Captain America miniseries. It was 6 issues that first introduced Sam Wilson as Captain America. So if you're interested in seeing Sam Wilson as Captain America in the upcoming stuff in the MCU, then definitely this is a book you might want to take a look at, though keep in mind he's only Cap for the last small chunk of the series, of this book rather. And then this also has a Winter Soldier miniseries, The Bitter March, that Remender penned, as well as a miniseries titled Hail Hydra that was part of the 2015 Secret Wars event. Now, speaking of creators who had big acts to follow, this month we also get the Daredevil by Charles Soule omnibus. Now, Soule had had the great opportunity to take over on Daredevil after Mark Waid's run ended, and Mark Waid's run was phenomenal for many different reasons. If you're interested in the character and you have not read Mark Waid's Daredevil, I highly recommend checking it out. But Soul came on afterwards, and it was a little bit of a rocky start. I'm going to say I wasn't really completely digging it in that first volume, but he did come into himself writing that character, and I really enjoyed the series in the long run, and it had some beautiful artwork throughout from artists like Ron Garney. It's great. If you're a fan of Daredevil, maybe check out some stuff digitally on like Comixology, pick up the first couple paperbacks or something to try it out. But me, I'm super excited for it. And it's also exciting to get more Daredevil omnibus editions, just given we have like a full stretch of Daredevil in oversized hardcover all the way back to the beginning of the Marvel Knights series, with no gaps except for like a small amount of stuff that's not collected in the Bendis stuff because it wasn't written by Bendis, all the way until now. Not just Soul, but some of the Zdarsky stuff is in oversized hardcover that followed Soul, so that's really awesome to keep adding to that line of Daredevil material that we have in oversized hardcovers. Now, also from Rick Remender, who is writing that Captain America I've been talking about, is Low hardcover volume 2. This is one of his Image titles, and this is one of his big oversized library-sized hardcovers that he gets from Image and from Dark Horse and stuff. Low is a great sci-fi kind of dystopian post-apocalypse series where people have to live underneath the water. It's a very interesting series with beautiful artwork by Greg Tuccini. If you're into anything that sounds like that, definitely look into it. I really love it. I really enjoy the series, and I don't think I've read the last few issues, so it's going to be awesome to be able to wrap it up and read those last few issues for the first time. And finally, one more book that I'm excited is coming out the last week of this month on the 31st from DC is Swamp Thing New Roots. Now, if you know me and you know this channel, you know I'm a huge fan of Swamp Thing. He's one of my favorite characters in all of comics. I absolutely love Swamp Thing. I collect everything Swamp Thing as far as the comics go. And this was a digital first series that came out, I believe, last year, initially written by Mark Russell, who's a fantastic writer, so I was very excited to see him attached to this project. And he did not disappoint. If you've never read anything from Mark Russell, I highly recommend looking at his Flintstones run, which is actually due to be getting a deluxe edition hardcover, I believe, next year, so look out for that when it comes out. But it's a great run on the Swamp Thing, just a short kind of mini series. I think it was 9 issues total, with Russell writing the first 7. Good artwork, good writing, and it's an easy one to get into if you've never read any Swamp Thing before. You really don't need to know anything about the character to jump into this book if you want to get acquainted with him. And that's it for all of my upcoming anticipated releases for August of 2021. That's all the stuff I'm really excited about getting this month. Let me know down below in the comments, what are you excited about that's coming out in August? Was there anything that I talked about here that you didn't know about that you are maybe gonna pick up now? Let me know in those comments. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed what you saw here today. I hope y'all did. I hope it was entertaining and informative, as I always try to make my videos. And thank you just for spending the time with me. I hope that you enjoyed that. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do so and hit the bell so you're notified of all the upcoming videos that I put out on comics and on manga. And with that, again, thank you for spending time with me, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.